So last night, season 7 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta kicked off, and it was pretty much just a filler episode just to get you back into the gist of what is Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it wasn't really much juice, but there were some things that really stuck out to me last night, and we're going to discuss them here. First and foremost, new taglines. Every Real Housewives of Atlanta housewife had a new tagline, but the most important one of them all was Nene's tagline. Nene's tagline says something like, "Why be so nasty and rude when you can be rich and successful?" or something like that. So nasty, so rude is like my favorite phrase from the Real Housewives franchise. She said it last year at the reunion when she was going back and forth with Kenya, and the way that Nene says it is just all out hilarious, and I'm so glad she included that in her tagline. It's so funny. Another thing that stood out to me in last night's episode was the fact that I don't like Kenya. That's just point blank in the period. I don't like Kenya. I just don't like her. Last night, Kenya started crying about how she felt victimized and she had to go through a lot after being personally attacked by Portia, blah, blah, blah.
So you seem like you're a little stressed out. I have so much anxiety lately. You know, the last time that we were together, it was the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. After the attack was publicized, I felt like I was in the middle of open season and I had a target on my back. I felt like everybody ganged up on me. This group of women always acts like, you know, they hate me.
Right, well, I did not support what she did to you. I mean, if that happened to Candy, you know, I think everybody would have ran to Candy and not to the person that attacked her.
Portia, look at Nene. Nene, tell her we're going to sit her up.
If it happened to Nene, people would have ran to Nene.
Anybody but me.
Anybody but you.
My whole thing is you had it coming. Like, you don't point something in somebody's face. You don't yell at somebody. You don't call nobody a dumb hoe and don't expect to get whopped and like dragged to the ground, because that's just blatant disrespect. And Portia's way better than me, because all Portia did was really grab her hair and took it to the ground. And had it been me, it would have been a lot worse for Miss Kenya Moore, okay? Because that's just putting two and two together. Like, you don't come for nobody and don't expect them to come back in whichever way they feel is fitting. So yeah, Portia didn't have to put her hands on her, but you know, that's just how she felt the need to handle that situation. Who am I to say she was wrong? You know, because if it was me, it would have been the same situation. And even if it was Kenya on the receiving end, it probably would have been the same situation. So Kenya, you're from Detroit. Like, let's be real. We know what goes down in Detroit. We really do. So it's cold in the D was one byproduct of Detroit. We know what happens there, right? So I don't like Kenya. I also am on the fence about Cynthia. Cynthia, in my eyes, is replaceable. Cynthia can be kicked off the show today and I would not care, because Cynthia is further proving that what Nene said about how she just blows in the wind and she goes whichever the way the wind goes.
Cynthia will blow whichever way the wind blows. That's what I said. When the wind blow, you blow this way, then you blow that way. Girl, bye.
Because Cynthia, you were best friends with Nene and now you're kikiing it with Kenya. Not to say that you can't be friends with whoever else, but you're this new Cynthia who wants to be the bold and the beautiful, and no. Like, show consistency in your personality and then maybe we could talk. Like, you can't just get into it with Nene and now all of a sudden you have this blossoming shade. Like, no. It's inauthentic to me. It's not genuine, and it's just like, you're trying to stay on because you need a job. Okay. I think Kandi and Todd are so cute, and I'm so happy that they got married. They look so happy, and that was pretty much all I got out of their relationship. Well, from last night's episode, they look so cute. The real tea of the whole episode is Apollo and Phaedra, or Phaedra and Apollo, or whatever. Apollo had been sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for identity theft and bank fraud and a whole lot of other stuff, which resulted in him he had stole $2.3 million, somewhere upward of $1 million, and that's a whole lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. And so he was sentenced in last night's episode to 8 years, and his loving wife was not present for his sentencing or to welcome him home from his long day in court. She was in a suite with her mama and her 2 kids in Augusta, Georgia, while her husband was being sentenced in Atlanta. The issue that I have with this is that Phaedra should have at least been at home while he was being sentenced, or she should have been somewhere in this just to show that you care about him, not so much in the choices that he made, but that you care about him. Phaedra came up with some story about how she didn't want to be at home because of the paparazzi being out front of her house, and then they show the camera angle go straight to their front house. It's not a car, not a camera, not a pedestrian, not a neighbor, not a cat, dog, snake, or snail outside that house.
Man, ain't nobody outside. Phaedra developed some type of ploy in order to leave, told me that paparazzi was all outside of my house. That's a lie. If there was paparazzi in my neighborhood, where were they at?
So it's like, girl, like you don't care that your baby daddy is about to go to jail, like, for 8 years, and he got to do at least 5. Girl, it just sucks when you see a family being torn apart, mostly because of reality TV. Apollo was trying to keep up a lifestyle that he had grown accustomed to, and he knew that his wife was accustomed to, and so he stole over $1 million in money. And I'm also side-eyeing Phaedra, because how your husband steal that much money and you don't know? You don't have not an inkling of how he getting this money? Girl. Now, if he had brought you a Birkin bag and bought you all this other stuff and he ain't got no job, you not questioning that? Come on, Phaedra. In my opinion, I believe Phaedra knew something was going on. Not the whole, she might not have known the whole picture, but she knew something. A man can't come, especially not your husband, can't come with a bank flow of upward of $1 million over I don't know how many years and you not know. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And at the same time, Phaedra knew she was marrying a felon. And not to say all felons are like bad people, but the way our prison system works is that they are setting up felons to constantly fail. A felon can't get a job in most places with a high salary because you have a criminal background. Like, felons are kind of the castaway of society even after they have done their time back to society, you know? So, like, I don't know, Phaedra, you knew something was going on, and I wish you would have been there to support your husband, even not in court, but even to welcome him home with his children, etc. And then for Phaedra to say she's not sure of how she's going to tell her children about their father's legal trouble, I think that's a bunch of BS as well.
Oh my goodness, you gotta work on your coordination.
Coordination? What does coordination mean?
I've just learned that Apollo was sentenced to 8 years. Because our children are so young, I'm not sure how I explain to them what is going on right now.
Don't be rough, Dylan.
Yum, yum.
And so I'm very confused and befuddled when it comes to explaining this whole process to them.
Because that baby is like a genius. His speech is, he speaks so eloquently for a 2-year-old. He has a wide vocabulary. He is very able to comprehend things. So I felt like if you were to sit him down and really let him know what was going on with his father, he would be able to put it together. The other baby is a little too young. But that one is too smart for you not to share tea on what's going on with their dad. Like, come on, girl. And poor Portia, because she has been X from the show altogether. She's not toting a peach in the beginning. She don't even really have any place in the show. She was in the show for all of, what, 5 minutes yesterday. Like, poor Portia. She getting her coin from elsewhere, apparently. The Housewives wasn't it. And she had a nice little run. So, yes, I would like to thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to check in next week for episode 2 of my review of the show. And please subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time.